It's also like when women are able to attain that independence, suddenly anybody who makes less than them is like subhuman. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Buffet Podcast with your boy Brandon and the stupendous Ciandra.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, we didn't even do the. Hey, sing here, what's up? So what now?
It makes me think of that real now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the blanket. That's funny. That's funny. So this is episode 87. And of course, if you haven't already, go ahead. I need you to go ahead, hit that like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Help the algorithm out. You know what I'm saying? Push us out to a wider audience. Please and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely sound like you said a whiter audience.
A wider audience.
Although our Caucasian friends are welcome here.
Mm-hmm.
We've been with y'all. Some of y'all. Good white people.
We've been with white folks.
That's true. That's the distinction, ain't it?
Yeah, we've been with white folks.
Some good white folks out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's them white people that you got to watch out for.
Potentially. Yeah, so, like I said, episode 87. I feel like I'm losing track of these numbers.
I know, we getting up there.
Yeah. So, we'll get right into it, as usual. You got the clip ready to go.
Whoa, slow down. Right into it. I thought you was going to tell them something about your week, your day.
I said last week, and I said, you be getting this, I guess, the first Monday of April. You know what I'm saying? March is
over.
Just sped by. First quarter down. You know what I'm saying? Second quarter started. Hopefully the weather has stopped being so asshole-ish for you guys and ladies. I don't know. I'm hearing my DC folks, it was just 30 degrees, for a few days. Up down here in Texas, it's been, I don't know, warm-ish to cool, but also overcast. And
boo-boo.
It hasn't been that great, but it's getting better. So I hope, April has already started off to a good start. That sentence didn't feel right.
It started off great.
It started off great for y'all. And if not, there's still time.
I love it. Encouragement. I got the video pulled up.
All right, let's get into it. I haven't seen this one.
You mean wrong by that? In what ways have we became the men that we want?
Wrong now.
Somebody asked me if I could share my standpoint on why men typically leave their girlfriends or their wives when they become sick or ill than a woman would leave her husband if he was terminally sick or ill. And then I saw this video afterwards.
Spoiler alert. A lot of women can't find the good man that they're looking for because they became him.
And my perspective is basically in that video. I'm going to explain why, but first, this is what my friend had to say about that guy's video.
You mean by that? In what ways have we became the men that we want? All they're describing is being a self-sufficient adult. They bring up the fact that we have jobs and careers, bring up the fact that we have our own place to live and or car, and they bring up the fact that we're proud of having those.
I recently read this book where it talked about how over the years, women have expanded beyond their traditional gender roles to become more than just wives and mothers, and men have not done any work to go beyond being providers and protectors. So women now have the choice to date men because they actually like those men and because those good men, right, are respectful, they're kind, equitable, or whatever it is. And men are still looking for women that can do things for them. So because the woman is with the man because she actually loves him and cares for him, she's going to stick by him through the end of it all. While for a man, he's only with her for what she can do for him. And when she can no longer do those things, she's disposable. Overwhelmingly, men still believe that dating should be based on what people can do for you and not because of who they are as a person. Yesterday, somebody asked...
Interesting. The interwebs will have you believing the reverse is true.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm pretty sure the statistics don't reflect that statement at all. But let's tackle what it is that he said.
Well, I think we should tackle the first part. The first part being that the reason that women can't find good men is because they became the good men that they're looking for. Spicy take. I can
kind of see it where that take came from. I may not necessarily 100% agree with it, but I can see how that could be true. Yeah. So if you think about, or if you see any kind of the talking points, the social media talking points about what women want in their man, usually it starts with, well, I am here, so I want my man to be here. They're where they want their man to be.
Okay. I hear that as a speaking point. I'm where I want my partner to be, and if I'm there, then I'm taking his spot. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it. I'm just that kind of bears the point of like women becoming the quote unquote man that they want. Like they was like, well, my man needs to make 6 figures. I'm making 6 figures, so I want that in my man. But I already got that. You know, I need my man to be able to do this and that. I'm so self sufficient. I have a house. I got a car. I got all these things. So I need my man to have all these things. So it's like, then what do you need the man for? Like you are him. You've built yourself to become what you want your man to be.
Interesting.
Because you never see, you never see the what is like, well, you know what I'm saying? Obviously I can't be like, oh, I can have kids, so I want my woman to have kids, be able to have kids. But it's like where that I haven't necessarily heard that argument being said from the reverse, when it says I'm looking for a woman, but because I'm here, I need my woman to be here or better than me. I'm very nurturing and I love my kids, but I need my woman to be better nurturer than me. Otherwise, what are we doing together?
So is that a consequence of the role that men are expected to play in society? If you're expected to be a protector and provider, that's limiting. Like that limits what your value is. And if your value is attached to what you can do, then if you ain't doing shit, why
am I here? So it's like I want my man to do these, to have these things, be able to provide. First and foremost, the responsibility or the expectation placed on men has generally since time began been to be a provider or a protector. Those two things have never changed ever in life ever. Even the richest woman, most powerful woman want a man who can meet them or better surpass them. Yeah, that part was beat my ass. So if that is what you've been told all of your life, that this is your value to society and to women, and then you get that, and then you're told, but what else? It's like, this is what you told me. This is what I've been conditioned to go for. And then not only is this what I worked my whole life to get, I get here, and then you telling me I don't need that. I got that. I don't need that. I need, so it's like, then why would I be here? Like, I'm here applying for a job, and then the job is telling you I don't need you. Like, then why am I here?
It's not. I don't think the job is telling you I don't need you. The job is more so responding with like, we're going to consider other candidates. I don't think that there are women who don't recognize that they want to be in a romantic relationship. More often than not, women want to be in a romantic relationship. So I don't think it's a denial of that desire, but I do think, to your point, that it is, I have risen to this level and therefore my standards have risen to this level. And anyone that I can engage with has to be at this exact same level as me. But I don't think that women are thinking of it as I'm now, like, I don't know. I don't know if women are thinking of it as, in doing these things, I'm disqualifying a whole group of men, or like I am excluding myself from opportunities to be able to consider other people or other strengths or qualities that a man will be able to bring to my life. I think that you're right. Like, we have been conditioned to think of protection and provision as the primary responsibility of a man. But I think that we haven't expanded those definitions to include other non-tangible things, like, how does this person protect my feelings? How does this person provide emotional stability or support? Like, I don't think that we have been conditioned to see all those other parts of protection and provision. And I don't know what it would take for us to see those things as valuable. Because I think women know that it's valuable, but I think that it's tier 2, tier 3, right? Like if you're a protect and provide kind of woman, what income this person is bringing in is an automatic qualifier or disqualifier. So I'll never get to know if you have any of the other elements that would be helpful in terms of protecting and providing, because if you don't have the money, I'm not even seeing you. Like you're not even...
Right. So what does that do for the people who aren't being seen? Like, how do they know that being able to be emotionally vulnerable and protect, their feelings and stuff is something of import if you don't find out about that information until after you've unlocked the first level?
I don't know, because I wouldn't encourage them to build that up and then offer that on the market as the primary.
Right. And then of course you hear like, oh, women say, oh, we love when men are vulnerable and that, and then you see that it doesn't play out like that. And like in real life, we see that the emotionally vulnerable one aren't the first pick.
When you say emotionally vulnerable, what do you mean?
Who's able and willing to express their softer emotions to their women. Who can like tell them when they're feeling angry, when they're feeling frustrated, when they're feeling sad, feel like not feel like they can't show weakness.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that's been promoted from men, not only from men or with men, but also from women to men. We didn't heard plenty of horror stories about like how women's like. What was it? The quote I said, like, you say that my wife and daughters will rather see me die on my white horse than to show vulnerability in front of them. I was like, ooh, that's tough. So how do you go from saying that to we need men to be vulnerable? We love a vulnerable man how is that? We love a vulnerable man, but I'd rather you die before you show me that.
That's not everybody. That's some of them.
Yeah. So,
but I hear you, babe. And I do think that it's like a programming thing. I think much to the point of like, he has to make a certain amount of money, protection and provision looks this way, and this is the only way that it can look. It's a programming thing. I think that we all are raised in the same society and have the same expectations. And while we recognize that like that emotional vulnerability serves a greater purpose in terms of like intimacy and connection and the overall well-being of that other person, I think that we still brush up against the like, this isn't manly, or this isn't masculine, or like, I don't understand like why you got all these feelings. Like, I think that we still brush up against that because we haven't had any space in which we practiced.
Mm-hmm. They don't know listening. What to do with it.
Yeah.
You want to know what it's such a rare thing to see men express their vulnerability. That's for women. They don't even, I guess in their mind, when they think vulnerability from the lens of themselves and the other women in their family and how that, so they're familiar with how that looks, but that may not necessarily be what a man's vulnerability looks like. So when a man shows that vulnerability, if it doesn't look like what they expect, it's like, does not compute. What is this? I don't like this. Take it away. This is not what I meant.
What do you think a woman wants a man to do when he's being vulnerable?
Honestly, I feel like they want it to be like one of their girlfriends when they're powwowing and talking about their feelings and things like that.
Not PC.
It's not?
No.
Why not?
It's cancelable. It's in
powwow?
Yeah.
How?
I'm pretty sure we looked this up before.
Okay, sure.
When they're collectively,
are you April Foolsing me right now?
April
Foolsing me right now?
No, I'm not April Foolsing you, babe.
Okay, well,
but I'm pretty sure that was on that. Remember that little reel that I like to watch with the girls, like, let's go get my coworkers canceled.
Oh, it's some kind of genetic trauma.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, sure. Yeah, I think that's just the best. That's the best I can come up with off the top of my head. The only thing that makes sense is that, how a man expresses their vulnerability is not acceptable to them because it's just not how they what they're used to, and they are unwilling to, see it from the other side, or just kind of sit within those emotions, or just learn the ways in which their men or the men around them express those vulnerabilities. Because if it doesn't look like how I expect it to look, then you are not doing it right.
And so as a man, do you think that it's a space where you get feedback about not doing it right, and then that feedback makes you not want to share more? Or is it that you share and there isn't any empathy, or there isn't any reaction to your sharing, and that causes you not to share? Or is it something else?
I think it could be a combination of those things. Be a combination. So it's like, not only I'm expressing, I'm doing something that is uncomfortable and unfamiliar to me with you, and then you tell me that's not how you do it. So it's like, so you're telling me how I'm supposed to be feeling, how I'm supposed to express my emotions. So it's like, fuck it, this is a failure. I'm not doing it again. Or I do it, and then somehow we're back to talking about how you feel some type of ways. And it's like, I'm not going to expose myself if there is no benefit to it. I'm not getting anything from it or anything. I tried it because you said you wanted it. And you did it, and you didn't like it. Fuck it then.
It's very unfortunate, because I think more women want their men to be vulnerable and would appreciate that. But I do think that without the skills to actually be able to receive it and to hear it, you're not going to get the thing that you want, and you're going to be frustrated again with the party who's not giving you the thing that you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that when men aren't vulnerable with women, I don't think that women take accountability for not creating an environment for their partner to be vulnerable. I think that it is more like, he's just being a man, or like, that's just how they are, and not any.
Because this is something that you want, so you got to make it, to use if I were to flip it and use it for something that a man would want a woman to do. So let's say, a man want to introduce something new into the bedroom that a woman's not used to, or uncomfortable doing. It's the man's responsibility to make her feel comfortable in order to to provide this new technique, service, or what have you. So I can't be like, hey, I want to try this, and you like, and then you try it and it goes wrong, and I'm like, you did it wrong, but figure it out.
You're right, babe. You can't do it like that. Okay, so what about the second part? So the woman responds that, if being a good man is just being independent, having a place to live, having a car, and having a job, and the means to provide for my wants and needs, then that's not enough. Well, she didn't say that, but...
she said that all women are doing is being able to live independent and have this man being proud of the ability to do that. And I don't think that's the argument that the guy was saying, that like you've become the man that you want. Like, you're supposed to be able to be self-sufficient, to be able to take care of be able to take care of yourself, pay your bills and things of that nature. That's not, like, it's suspicious if you've grown and you can't do those things. Like, you miss a step. So I don't think that's what he's saying. I think it is the women who use that as like some kind of leveraging of to equate my ability to be independent with like my worth as a person. So it's like, because I can take care, it's like, I'm the baddest bitch alive. Why? Because I can pay my bills on time, because I have a house and I live by myself, and I have a car that takes me from my house to my job and where I need to be. So it's like, you're not special. That's the bare minimum, but you're acting as if like, because I can do these things, I can demand the world from anybody. Like, you're acting like you are a billionaire. Like, you're not crushing me with your wallet.
Those are good points. I didn't think about it that way. I think that this might be my first time hearing it that way and making it make sense. Because you're right. I feel like I've said this before. Those are not the things that men are looking for when they're looking for a partner. Like, how much you make is not going to be that important to me. Because also things could change. Like, I think that should be true across the board. Like, how much you make is important in terms of like your lifestyle and your standard of living. Yes. But also, like, if I'm just getting with you for money, I'm going to have a hard time when the money changes, because money does change, like for better or for worse. And with that comes changes to your lifestyle. So that shouldn't be the only thing that you're seeking. But especially as a woman, if that is the place where you are attributing your value in the dating market, you're not doing it. You don't want the man who wants you for your money. That's not even the man that you want.
They're not ready for that. But it's coming because women are making get into the bag, so to speak. And not only is what I was saying is also like when women are able to attain that independence, suddenly anybody who makes less than them is like subhuman. So it's like, if you ain't even on this level, I'm not even going to have a conversation. It was like, God damn. So it's, you know, and it, as they increase, as they get more or better things, so do those. So you make a woman making 40,000. If you make 30, if you making 35, you're not human. She go up and make 60. You make 55. You no longer human. She go up and make 80. You make 75. You no longer human.
I don't know if it's that bad, babe.
Okay.
I think that maybe you can be within the range. I hope.
I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit hyperbolic a little bit, but you get the gist of what I'm saying.
I do get the gist of what you're saying. I do think that there's also like this feeling that if protection and provision is a part of what I'm looking for, now I feel like you can't add anything to what I already have if you're making less than me, which is still untrue, because what they have, even if it's less than what you have on the whole, when it comes together, is more than what you had before.
Yes, this is true. So it's confusing for us, because not only is like, well, you're making the good money, that's great. I'm making good money. I'm making similar to you. We come together, we balling. But that's not enough, because like not only that, really, you looking for a man who can be able to provide what both of us together can make when she's not working. So it's like, I'm making six figures, but I want my man to make, multiple six figures. So I can not work, but so we can still maintain, but we still need to be able to maintain the lifestyle when we both brought up. So I make 100,000. You need to make 200,000, so I can stop working and making 100,000, but we can still maintain that $200,000 lifestyle. And if you can't do that, I can't talk to you.
Y'all let us know in the comments if you think that's true, that the girlies are really thinking not only do you need to be my equal, you need to be making 2 times as much as I make in order for me to consider you a viable candidate, because I may want to stop working. Because
equal is the minimum. It's the bare minimum to them. Okay. So like, so they say equal or more, but they mean more.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with you. What about that last part about men leaving women when they get ill because they aren't marrying women that they like? They're marrying women that can do things for them.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know the validity or how true that is. I mean, do I believe that there are men who have and probably will leave their woman if they're terminally ill? Yeah, just like I know there are women who would do the same thing, but I don't know if that's enough for him to make that generalization. I don't know if that's true in general or not. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that it is true. I couldn't tell you why. The only thing I can guess or hypothesize is just a woman is a natural nurturer. So like, seeing their partner, sick or infirm will like bring out those maternal instincts, and I guess it will make more sense for them to continue to see that out, so to speak. Why men would say, "Nah, I'm out." I don't know. Cold logic. I don't.
Damn.
Yeah, right. Sounds fucked up.
No benefits for me anymore. I gotta go.
I guess to that point. So I guess if that is true, it makes sense, like what his explanation was, like that how men value women for the utility and the things that they can do for them, whether that be like through cooking or cleaning or protecting their space, their mental, their emotions, helping with the kids, bringing that nurturing. But it is like a service that they provide. So I guess I can see if a woman is terminally ill, those services are no longer being provided. But the same is true for, the man. The man can't go to work, can't, provide the lifestyle and all that stuff anymore. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's true, but if there's some kind of stats, that's something that bear it out, that come out and say something different, then I gotta eat that. But as things currently stand, I believe that is more anecdotal.
I agree. I hope that is not
really
true.
do. I really do.
That's a horrible thing to do. And I also find that more often than not, people who are speaking about these topics on the internet, us included, right, are not married and or have not been put in that same situation. So you don't know what you would do. And so I feel like you're less likely to be able to understand the state of mind that someone who's in that situation is in and what they are likely to do as well. Like, don't get me wrong. I do think that there's a group of men, just like there's a group of women that really think about relationships in the sense of utility. Like, what do I stand to gain from this relationship? But even if you have that like frame of mind, if you find someone that you're actually interested in, and there's time put in, I think that like sunken cost fallacy of like, oh, I invested all this time, or I'm this age, or, I already been with this person, I might as well ride out this storm. I think even that would kick in and make you less likely to just get up and walk away. Now, 3 months to a year, maybe you like, that's your business.
Right.
Prayers to all parties involved, and you just walk away. But I think you put some time in with this person. Yeah. You think about the investment that you made in terms of that time, and you think about like basically your dating history is your resume. So if you go back out into the dating pool and you tell people like, "Oh man, I had a job about 3 years. Oh, what happened? What happened with your last relationship? He got sick and I left him."
Right.
No, man.
I stopped. Yeah. It's like, you ever have, he died or what? Like cancer? Like, oh, but I guess it just depends on how you frame it. Cause you can easily hide the fact that you left your partner.
Especially, you can lie.
Yeah. Well, you can lie, but you can be like, what happened to your last partner? Oh yeah, my last partner, they died of cancer. No one's going to ask, oh, did you stay with them through it?
That's true. Damn. I would probably say that sounds like a really hard situation to go through with someone that you love, to like watch them pass. Like, what was your grieving process like? Like, what did that look like for you?
It's a good game right there.
And then if they're like, I had to grieve while they were still alive because I left. It's like, damn. You doing people dirty.
But on the flip side, to what you were saying earlier about like if you're in a few months or maybe a year or so into a relationship, what do you do? Like, can you imagine you started dating, a nice young lady, and y'all just getting into the swing of things, and like a year down, like of y'all starting to date and having a title on it, she come down with something terminal, or he come down with something terminal. Damn. If it's terminal, I guess you could ride it out.
Because you know how it's gonna end.
Yeah, I mean, if it's terminal, you out of here in a little bit. But there's plenty of times where it's like, oh, it's terminal, and then they live another 20 years type situation. So yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be a tough place to be right there for sure.
There's a couple that was on Black Love this most recent season, and the wife had brain cancer and gone into remission before they met. And so when they were meeting, she's like, "Listen, I got this thing.
But
it could always come back. I just want you to know that there's potential for this to happen." And he was like, "Okay, like no big deal." Because I do think that like if you meet that person healthy, it's hard to imagine what it would be like for them to be sick or for them to have to go through that experience again. It ended up coming back. They did have to go through it together in their relationship. And then she passed.
That's a lot of stress and grieving. God. Yeah, I don't wish that on nobody.
No.
But I also know that is the reality of a lot of people in like relationships and stuff. They gotta health, man. Things that you can't do nothing about. That's that
outside of your control completely.
That's outside of your control for real. At least for now. Maybe sometime in the far future we'll come up with some better treatments, but
yeah. But I think in making the decision to stay, instead of making the decision to leave, you gain a lot from that person. Like, you gain a lot from that relationship. I mean, you love that person, but I also think that you probably feel like you working against the clock. Like,
That's true. We got to get all our loving, all of our living in. It's like, oh my God, you got diagnosis. We got X amount of time to get before like you ain't gonna be able to do nothing no more. So we got to. I mean, it's plenty of, not plenty, but it's definitely been a handful of those movies. You know, the movies where they're both terminally. One of them's terminally ill. She got X
The
amount.
Notebook.
Notebook.
The Notebook.
In the Notebook, where she had got Alzheimer's, and then
but that's an illness.
but that didn't happen till later. Oh yeah. Oh wait, were they together? I never saw the Notebook. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Get him out of here.
Why I gotta get out of here?
Stupid. I'm not going to let you get the chance.
I was thinking it was something more. Something more.
The one that I watched with the Italian couple. I mean,
No,
with the Italian man.
that was also a good one. No, I'm
From
talking
scratch.
Yeah, it was called From Scratch, but I think it was based off a book. It was the stars of our something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I didn't see that.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it either, but that's the one that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we know how this is going to end, but yeah, you got to get all your loving in before it's over. That's sad. All right, that's I don't want to.
Oh, it is very sad.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you have?
Did we have another video we was going to show?
I mean, I got some stuff if you want to.
Yeah, what was the second video we were looking at now?
Do 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 do. You want to watch the one with the woman and talking about? You want to keep down the same path, or you want to switch it up?
Surprise it. It's up to you.
Okay.
Spots between 30 to 35 because your frontal lobe has congealed. You've already had at least one or two mistakes or children.
But you're not totally stuck in your ways.
You're not stuck in your ways yet. So you're mushy. You're not malleable like clay.
Wow, that's not manipulative at all.
It's funny,
They don't have the chemistry.
What I mean is, a lot of men have to be deprogrammed. Perfect example, when Jay-Z went to therapy, all he talks about is the deprogramming that took place because he was about to, lose his family. There's a deprogramming that all men who understand what misogyny is have to go through to be good dudes. I want to be the person who's like, hey, I'm not going to judge you because society did this to you, but are you open to being a better person? Once they hit a certain age, they decide, I'm going to die on this hill. I want to find a man who's open-minded before he dies on that hill. Now, can you find them older? Yes, but they're usually married, and that's called being a mistress.
Do you think society has done the same thing to women?
We're fighting for equality. Equality means that we're trying to have what the men have. We're also inheriting some of their toxic traits.
Like?
People thinking that your money absolves you of having to have accountability, feelings, or compassion.
That part.
That used to be a masculine thing, but now that we're as equally industrious and have the same rights, we're inheriting the bad stuff too.
Ooh.
Not everything your grandma did was bad. The sweet spot is between 30 to 35.
I feel like she took our point from the last one of women in reaching for equity or equality are inheriting some of the bad traits that like women would complain about in men. Having money, absolving you from needing to have feelings, needing to be responsible or accountable for your actions and behavior. So I love that point, and I love the way that she like synthesized it.
Yeah. Yes. The only thing I would change is equating that with as if all men are like that.
I don't think it was all men. It's a toxic masculinity trait. I don't think that all men are toxic. TikTok.
I wouldn't say. Well, I don't think that is a masculine trait. Being an asshole is not masculine or feminine.
It's not being an asshole that she described. What she described specifically is using your money as a reason to absolve you from having accountability, compassion, or responsibility for others' feelings. That has to do with money. It has less to do with like...
That's an asshole with money.
Yes, but like the reason that you feel entitled to be an asshole is because you have money. And I do think that is true of men in previous generations. Like, I run shit around here because I'm the person who's bringing home the bacon.
Mm-hmm.
And women who have that same mindset, like, it's a toxic trait that they inherited from men. You think that just came out of the sky?
Yes and no.
Go ahead, tell it.
What men did these women inherit this behavior from? So for you to inherit it would imply your father had this trait. Like did you all the women who use their money to avoid accountability and all these extra things, did their fathers or the men in their life exhibit those same traits?
You think that your father is the only man who has influence over you?
Then where did you get this from?
I would lean on the fact that like we're all raised in a society that teaches us certain things about gendered behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that trait is inherently masculine or has more often than not been associated with men than it has been with women.
Okay.
And so if you were in a space and you were taught how to be a man, she was still watching you be taught how to be a man. Like, even when we think about how the difference in the way that people raise their sons versus the way that they raise their daughters, right? Like how in a lot of homes, boys are given less responsibility and more freedom and more independence. Mm-hmm. And as you grow up from a boy to a man, when you have your money is your money. You get to spend it on what you want. And maybe as a girl, you have more responsibilities to be able to take care of yourself or to give back to the family, things like that. And so I think that having that example in your household, even if it isn't your father, is still enough for you to be like, oh, okay, well, if I just get money, like, you can't tell me shit because I don't need you for shit. So now you can't tell me shit. Or even the inverse, right? Like if you see your mom in a situation where she's being mistreated or isn't getting the things that she needs emotionally, and a part of the reason that she says that she has decided to stay is because I need the money. Like I need to be able to depend on your father or depend on this person to be able to help us make ends meet. So I deal with this mistreatment because I need the money. Then you would equate like, oh, if I have money, then I can treat people however.
I mean, that is an interesting,
or if I have money, then now I don't have to need you. Like now I don't have to need you. And then because I don't need you, I can treat you as if you're more disposable.
Okay. But is that a masculine thing though? Like inherently a masculine thing? Or is that just like a consequence of you having money and then like in your specific circumstances that you came up in?
I lean towards thinking that it's masculine because again, babe, we have to take history into account. Mm-hmm. Like there were more years and times in which men were sole providers and breadwinners and did have more freedom as a result of that in what they could do and how they could treat and respond to the people in their lives because of the money that they had. So I do think that maybe it's not inherently masculine. Like you as a man are not born with that trait of potentially becoming an asshole when you get some change in your pocket. But it is, given the historical and societal context, something that we associate with men.
Okay, there we go. I'll take that.
And a toxic man. It's not every man. That's why I don't think that it's inherent. Like it is a learned behavior. And the same way that you were raised in society to see that, I saw it too. And I decided it was something I wanted to take part in because it had benefits. Shit.
And that is not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay for either side. And I think that's a good call out for this woman to say of like, there is a deprogramming that needs to happen on both sides because we're raised in the same society and the things that we are taught aren't inherently positive for the health and stability of our relationship long term and our mental, emotional well-being as individuals. Like some of the things that we teach boys about what it means to be a boy is like stunting them.
Yeah, it's like dehumanizing.
It is. It's like not doing what it is intended to do, or maybe it is. It's fulfilling its mission, but it is harmful. I'll say that we can agree that it is harmful. And so, in recognizing that harm, you have to unlearn those behaviors that are contributing to the harm because past a certain point, it's not anybody else inflicting that shit on you. Past a certain point, it's you doing it to yourself.
That's right.
You learn to police yourself in the ways that you've been taught to police yourself by society. And it's not anybody else. It's no external pressure. It's just you doing it to you. So you got to learn how to, You have to unlearn those behaviors in order to be in a good space. And so I think what she's suggesting is, what better space to be able to unlearn those behaviors than with like a caring, thoughtful partner in that, who's like, that don't work for you or work for us. You might want to change that.
I mean, yes, ideally in a perfect society, I guess, but I would question, why would you or I, as caring, empathetic people, nice people, want to associate with somebody who acts in that manner? Why would, like, if I see somebody who's just using their money as an excuse to be an asshole, so to speak, why would I look at that person and be like, yeah, I want to date you, and then potentially try to change you around?
We probably wouldn't. But I don't think, I'm leaning towards thinking that there is some redeeming quality in that person. It's not all bad. And those redeeming qualities are enough to make me consider and give you the opportunity to improve before immediately writing you off. Especially if the problem is as widespread as it sounds like we've identified. Like, I don't think that we're saying that this is 1 in 10 women are assholes because they have money. It sounds like we're saying 5 in 10 women are assholes because of their money, or feel like they don't need to be accountable because they have money, or feel like there isn't anything that you can provide for them if you don't have money. So you got a 50-50 chance that you're either going to end up with this woman or you're going to end up with a woman who is not like that. And so if you want to be partnered, same way that women have like, okay, this is what's on the market, like, I gotta pick and choose wisely from what's on the market and decide what I'm willing to work with. You're gonna have to do the same thing. Because I don't feel like I hear people saying on the internet that there's an abundance of good women. And it's like, I just keep overlooking the good ones. I feel like I hear people say on the internet,
There ain't none.
Yeah.
There ain't none. I don't, well, and that's how you get, like, quote unquote, the password bro, so to speak. Kind of, sort of.
That's true. There's multiple ways that we can respond to a problem. I'm just saying, if what you want is to be with a Black woman and you want to be with a Black woman from these here United States, you're going to have to be thoughtful about how much rope you're willing to give. If you are a person who believes and subscribes to the idea that it's 5 in 10 women who act this way.
Yes, I agree with it, but I think the solution that a lot of guys have found, and this is not just a Black thing, this is just men in general, the solution is get them young. Before those traits have been, like, to her, that she was saying, she was saying that the magic age is 30, 35. I disagree.
But she was talking about men. She started off talking about men. I mean, I think for a woman, 30 to 35 is a difficult age range if you're interested in having kids. Like, if you're thinking about, I want to have kids, it's like, all right, if I get you at 30 to 35, you don't have to be damn near perfect, because we got a shorter window to be able to grow and love together, get married, and be able to have these kids with little to no complications, or with, lesser complications.
This is true. The magic, her state, well, let me just tackle that phrase, like the magic age for a man to get them is somewhere between 30 and 35.
No,
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think I agree with that. I think if you get a man between 30 and 35, you have a higher chance of finding a man who is more at peace with who he is already, and is confident in who he is, and moves within that. But to try to get him at between 30 and 35 and say that's the magic age in which to be able to mold him into a quote unquote a better version of him, no, I don't think that's true. Because if that's the age where man is most confident who he is, I don't give a fuck about, I think you should change. No, I'm confident. I just got confident with who I am. I'm not changing anything anything wild for you. I might make some tweaks and adjustments based on like who you like the relationship. But how she was talking, I don't think that makes sense to me. I could be wrong, and I am prepared to be, but I don't think. I'm just going off of just as a man who is between 30 and 35. Nah. I think personally the magic time to be able to get a man in his most moldable, I guess, so to speak, to the point, malleable is, I would say probably 20, like mid 20s.
So 24 to 26 or 24 to 28?
I would go so far. I would go as low as 21, 22. I'm not saying you would. I'm just throwing a number up to about 26, 27. Maybe even 28.
Men are not interested in relationship at that point. So most men are not interested in relationship at that point. So that's
because they don't know the benefit of it. So that's the time to get in and be like, hey, let me put you on.
Who controls access to a relationship, Brandon?
Man, but
okay,
but we're not talking about relationship. We're talking about what's the word malleability? The malleability in order to turn a man so they'll be more receptive to information, to be able to be more willing to explore maybe the softer parts of themselves, to do deep dives into how they grew up and all those things. I think the best time to get it is probably in, like, I would say mid 20s. The mid 20s. By the time they hit 30, 35, they've probably already they've done the work that they deem acceptable and like made the adjustments that they feel like they need in order to be successful in whatever life that they chose. That works for them, but it may not work for what you got going on. But they're also probably will not be as willing to make another change again. I just solidified who I am just now. I did the deep work or whatever. There's chances that, they may change later on, but I don't think it is the prime time, is what I'm saying.
Interesting. So I caught you too late.
Potentially.
Should have snatched you up sooner.
Potentially. Potentially if I'm like not changing how you wanted to change it, so to speak.
Well, the thing that I think that she's saying that maybe is
missing something.
Yeah. Like the thing that I think that she's saying about men being malleable that you in part are getting is like the unlearning of certain things that are not contributing to their success and well-being. But also I feel like a part of it has to do with like how you conceptualize relationships with women. Mm-hmm. And I do think that changes between 30 and 35 because I do think earlier in your 20s, your relationship to women is much like what we heard in that first video. Like, what can I get? Like, what? I'm trying to get these cheeks. Like, what can I get from you?
That's you, right? Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're going from that aspect, I agree with you on that then.
And so I think that there is an opportunity in these 5 years of your early 30s to learn more about, of course, what can you get from women, but what can you offer to women and what does this relationship offer you? And being thoughtful about that.
That part. What does this relationship offer you or me, whatever, what have you. So I definitely agree with you there. I think there definitely is a shift once you hit them 30s where the roles that you would imagine a woman having in your life changes. It goes from, to your point, cheeks, let me get the cheeks, to this is going to be the mother of my children. Like what is that going to look like? What are the values that she's going to instill in the family that we built? I think I will hope that is true. But I do think that is true, that the value that you place on the role a woman has in your life would change around that time for sure. Mm-hmm. Still want the Chiefs though.
I'm gonna no. You don't have to. I don't want to play it. I just wanted to watch it again. Yeah, so she talks about not totally being stuck in your ways, and I think that's true. I do think that she used the word mushy.
Mushy. Mm-hmm. Because the mold and all that stuff sound like you should. I think they said it like sounds manipulative, but okay, so what she's arguing is 30 to 35 is maybe not the prime time to catch him, but it is like the last stop before it's locked in.
Yes. And I also
The point of no return.
I think a prime time in the sense of they're probably more ready for a serious relationship. So if you as a woman are looking to enter into a serious relationship with a man who is also looking for a serious relationship and ready to do the work,
Yes.
he should be between
Yes.
30 and 35.
Oh, yeah. In that aspect, absolutely agree.
Yeah. Because
Absolutely
I
agree.
hear what you're saying about early 20s and like, you know, not being as set in your ways or as confident about where you're at and like looking for or being more open to receiving information about how to change. But you also aren't looking for a serious relationship and you probably aren't going to do the work. I could say something to you at 26 that may come back to you at 30 and you might do something
Like,
with
dang.
it. But at 26, you're just like, that's crazy. And nothing happens.
Potentially. Sure. I give you that. Yeah. So, 30 to 35. Yeah.
What do you think that age is for women? Do you think it's the same?
No. I think it's mid-20s for women. Mid to late 20s for women.
Why?
I generally think women in general want to be in relationships sooner than men do. Mostly because the access, you know, like mid to late 20s, women, if they had a hot girl summer, they probably already they like, I done did it already. I'm ready for something serious. But a man in that situation doesn't have access to the crop of women that he would like, because to our earlier point, you're not human until you got something to bring up. So that happens around 30, 40, somewhere between 30 and 50, really, somewhere in that aspect. So I just think just the timing, biologically and societal, I think that women are very serious and more intentional about finding their person. I would say mid to late 20s, like that 26, 27, 28. Of course, they're still looking forward at 30, but 20, 25, 26, 27, 28 is that prime area, in my opinion, for a woman, because you meet at 27. Maybe you got a couple years where y'all doing the dating, like enjoying each other, going on the trips, doing all the things, get married. Then you have the kids. By the time that happens, you in your early 30s potentially. Okay, that's cool. Versus I meet you at 30. We got to get a couple years in where we have our friend. We have our us time. Then we get married and have the kids. You maybe pushing other side of 35. Just the timing of stuff, just biologically, it's not as convenient. Okay,
so I wonder for you, and hearing that, because I do agree with you. I was on a similar timeline. I was like, I'm getting to be 25. Let me see what I'm finna do, what this is gonna look like, because I know for sure I want my life to look this way in terms of like having kids and having a partner. Do you think that means we are missing people? So if I am at the space where I'm considering this between 25 and 28, and my male peers aren't able to consider it until 30 to 35, are we missing each other? Like, are we missing our peers?
Yeah, I do think that we probably are missing some people. I think that's just the nature of the game, just how if you're not looking for it, you're not going to find it. If you're lucky, you may stumble across it and, power to you. But if you're not really looking for it, you ain't going, you're not going to see it. So I do think we are going to miss each other just based off of the things that we say we want or need in this life. Women want to be provided for and feel protected. A 22, 23, 24-year-old technically will maybe be able to provide for you. I mean, may be able to protect you, and maybe, depending on where they are in life, they might be able to provide in some type of way. But it don't look as good as when they in the thick of things in their 30s and 30, 35, and they are also more serious minded, about family and legacy and stuff like that. So that logically makes sense. So I just think for the time being, it's always going to be woman looking for older or slightly older. I'm not saying they're looking for 20 plus years older, but I think they're going to look older. And then men, when they reach a certain status in their life, where, they've distinguished themselves from the rest, so to speak, they're going to look for the thing that validates, they said, that things that they're going to want for the best of the best, so to speak, quote unquote. And that means they're going to try to get the best woman they can get. And the best woman that a man can probably potentially get is youthful. That youth and beauty are synonymous with success, and it will always be.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's that on that.
Yeah.
All right. Any final food for thoughts, babe?
I guess my final food for thought is to not be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, don't use money as an excuse to be a jerk to people, and to find other ways to measure your self-worth. Like, I saw something on LinkedIn yesterday that was like a Venn diagram that had like self-worth and career. And like sometimes people think of their self-worth in that way, like being connected to their career. But then it was like, but really, your self-worth is over here, your career is over there, your money is over there. Like, all of these things are separate, and you should find that you're a worthy person regardless of like the material things that you have or the status that you have. And so I hope more people have an opportunity to do that and like define their self-worth outside of
That's
things
real.
or status.
Because things can change.
They
things
will change.
Things can be taken away from you and what outside of your control.
Yeah.
You can get sick and so like, you know, you could be making a gang of money and then suddenly, you know what I'm saying, the big C hit you. That ain't got nothing to do with your ability to work and provide. That is just the cards that the world dealt you, and that doesn't change who you are as a person.
Especially if you fire.
You just fire with cancer. Yeah. So that being said, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Wow. Bye, guys.
We're gonna wrap it up here, episode 87 of Buffet Podcast. I'm your boy Brandon. This is my girl Ciandra.
Hey, y'all.
Tune in till next time. What's that?
I was just saying, we'll see y'all next time.
We'll see y'all next week. Peace.